So when I think about the word generosity in my own Christian faith context, I always think of scripture that tells us that we are blessed to be a blessing, that out of our abundance, out of the gifts that we've been given, that we are called to give, to be a blessing to others. But I think sometimes what happens is that we have different understandings and ideas of what abundance is. So what is abundance? Is abundance that I have two coats and I can give one away? Or is abundance like the widow's mite who had nothing but gave everything out of her nothingness? When I think about the world that we live in today, there is a lot of scarcity that people live in, and we've been told that we have produced enough food to feed a planet, an entire planet, and yet there are people that are hungry. And so I think what comes into play here is this lack of generosity, this feeling that I have to hold and hoard my own rather than being able to give and give generously so that all have enough. So there was a Sunday last year that we were going to be dwelling on what it meant to give generously. And so I got up in church the Sunday before and I asked for $200. I didn't tell folks what it was for. I simply said, if you are able to give, I need $200 by next week. I told them it wasn't for me, but to trust me on what I was going to do with it. By the end of the service, there was about $150 or so that had been given, and I thought, this is marvelous. I'll just contribute the rest. By that afternoon, we had $450, and by the end of the week, we had $800. And then I began to panic because I'm like, what are we going to do with $800? I only need $200. And my idea was that I was going to give each of the children in the children's sermon a $10 bill. Well, I couldn't give them $800. So what we did was we went to the bank and got $5 bills. And we put $5 bills in white envelopes and we passed them out in the congregation that following Sunday. And everybody took a $5 bill, an envelope, and we passed them until they were gone, so some people got two. And we asked them to give it away in whatever way they felt moved from their heart to give it away. And then I asked them to come back after they'd given it away, and we had a board that said Generous Hearts, and we asked them to write on the board what they had done with their $5. And when people came back in the weeks following, they were able to tell us where that $5 had gone, and some of it went to the children's teachers. I wanted to thank my teacher, so I gave her a $5 gift. Several people had stopped to feed homeless folks, had bought a meal for them and gave them the meal or gave them the $5. Other people collected their $5 together for a greater cause. I had someone that put out on her Facebook, I'm giving $5 to this organization and I'm asking you to match it. And so she raised $200. So the $5 just grew and grew and grew. And I think for me, when you think about generosity, generosity is giving from the heart. Whether you have a lot or you have a little, being generous means that I am giving from my heart. So my $5, I was all set when I drove home that day, the first day that I had given out the money. I had my $5 sitting on my lap because I was going to give it to a homeless person on Spear Avenue. And there are many of them along the way. So I drove slowly and I drove in the far left lane so that I could give my $5 out. And wouldn't you know, there was not one homeless person on the street that day. And I started thinking, who am I going to give my $5 to? And this went on for several weeks. And then I became concerned that if I gave my $5 away, I wouldn't have $5. So I started keeping $5 in my wallet. When I would open up my wallet to go pay for something, if there was a $5 bill in there, I wouldn't use it because I needed to keep it for someone who was in need. I think we live our lives that from day to day, trying to get through the best way we can. And I think that when we are called to bless because we have been blessed, I think that the world becomes a smaller place where we're connected to each other. And I think that makes it easier to be generous when we can love one another and give as God has given to us.